Duvros.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me. Well, what's your passive perception? Silas, roll me your stealth.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yes, a lovely private walk.
Lovely private walk.
Much
All
like
by himself.
Star's private path.
Okay.
My passive perception is 15.
I was ready for you to say 25.
25.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no!
It's 24 and a half.
So, Silas, you are basically privy on all the scene, but Alexander is, by all accounts, just walking around. Unless, Alec, you want to go somewhere in specific.
He will take the scenic route to the what would you call it? The Temple District?
The Temple District, correct.
Yeah. And also, are there aside from like the whole town to slum? Is there like actual like slums in the Dubrovs?
There are. They're a tier below you, and I don't mean underground necessarily, although the undercity does open up to the slums. There's like a smaller entrance there. There's like a logger's burrow that the slums are connected to across like a small, like a relatively large stream. So there is a slum area, but it's not on this elevation.
Okay, so I would need to go very out of my way to go there, as well as the Temple District.
You could go to the Temple District, go into the Undercity, and then make your way to the slums.
Okay, so
yeah,
starting at the
that would
Temple
be
District.
Yeah. You begin walking, taking the scenic route, as you say, towards the Temple District, and, it's evening time, around like 6 o'clock, maybe pushing towards 7. Just sort of, people are coming and going either to and from the tavern space or what have you, or back home from work. And there are a number of people going, or leaving rather, the Temple District. You don't know if a ceremony or something happened in one of the temples or whatnot. But as, you're sort of pushing against the tide, as it were. Silas, Alexander is a relatively distinct-looking individual, especially amongst a crowd of Twinsians. You don't have too hard a time keeping tabs or following him. Go you. Alexander, you make your way towards the Temple District, and you do end up passing by that temple to Lovisa the Vaunted that you were in just last night.
And he would definitely stop to look at its door for a moment. But
doors are open wide, actually. They're open wide. There are still a couple of people sitting in the pews in there. But, it's not that very busy currently.
He takes a half step towards the doors, but he will continue on looking for a temple dedicated to burden bearer of Aurelius.
Ah. This one is closer towards the mountain. It's definitely further away than you and Tirvka's initial stint into the Temple District. But you do eventually find the temple to burden bearer of Aurelius. Unlike that of Lovisa the Vaunted, unlike most other temples, it's rather small. It does have like a bit of a fenced off front garden area, which is very well kept and everything. But it is just nowhere near in terms of majesty. The place itself is probably only a singular room, maybe two, for the one priest that runs the place. You go to the doors and it's unlocked. You open up and head in.
Mm-hmm.
There is only one icon to burden bearer of Aurelius, which is affixed opposite of the doorway, the main entrance doorway. And there's only there's not even pews, there's just a bunch of chairs in various makes and models and sizes.
Anyone else in here?
Not in this room. Although as you enter in, you open up the door and enter in, like a draft flies in through the open doorway past you, and you could hear someone begin walking out from the one smaller other room. And you see a man who is dressed very plainly, sackcloth robe and so on, and he has a wrap around his eyes. Welcome to the temple. Please enter in if you so wish.
What's the proper title here, brother, father?
This would be priest.
Priest. Okay. Thank you. I hope I'm not keeping you.
No. Not at all. There is always time for the faithful and guiding the faithful. Please enter in. He
He'll,
walks this sort of like aisle that's like bereft of chairs to the front altar space. There's not even much of an altar; it's more of like a single podium.
He'll walk all the way up the sort of middle aisle there, moving to sit on one of those chairs in the front row.
You go to the front row and take a seat. The chair creaks a little bit.
Silas will sit behind him, less caring about whether they get caught now.
So you follow in. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Then roll me yourself again, and this time actually though, I'll say
Oh.
roll perception.
Okay.
Oh!
Hey, who goes there? Okay, there we go.
Actually, is
Hold on,
Just
hold on,
enough.
hold on.
Hold on, what about cutting words?
I would say that would sort of reveal your presence because you have to
no,
speak what everyone
Yeah.
says.
Hey, look that way!
Who goes there?
Look over there!
Idiot.
It's like he like hears a creak behind him as you sit down, and as if he gets to turn over, you just go, "Don't fucking turn around."
Yeah,
You cannot confirm that he is seen behind that you're behind him, but you know sure that could just fucking said it.
Yeah, you know what? That's what happens.
Congratulations, that's what happened. No, please. No swearing in the hall.
Sorry.
What might I do for the two of you?
Alexander is currently like turned around in his seat, looking at Silas. But he'll sigh, turn forward, wave over his shoulder for Silas to approach.
Like, come forward.
Yeah.
From where? Silas will lean on the back of where you're sitting. They're right behind you.
He's leaning forwards with his elbows on his knees. He says, "I just needed some words of guidance from one who knows strife."
It is the words Burden Bearer Realis himself, first and foremost, an apology. An apology that he might not suffer in your place. An apology that you've been forced to bear whatever burdens you've accrued. Some weights are heavier than others for different people. I can tell by the tap of your boots, a sheave at your side. You are a soldier, aren't you?
He nods. Oh, and then he says, "Yes," because the man is wearing a
I
blindfold.
was actually about to say he's blind, so that's gonna be a bit hard. What struggles do you carry, soldier? Is it a want for home, trooping so far? A struggle of leadership, unsure if the mantle is light enough? Is it death? Unfortunate death that plagues you so?
Silas, as the list goes on, Silas can see Alessander's jaw tighten before he will interrupt the priest and say, "I fear that I am a selfish man. That which weighs heavy on my mind pales in comparison to the suffering I myself have caused."
Ah, I see. Suffering that you caused?
I'm an officer, priest. I lead, I give commands, or I did. I've been at this for over a decade. And when you are given commands for that long, Father, you tend to make mistakes. And in that sort of position, mistakes cost lives.
The commands you gave, the men you commanded, were these commands done of malice? Were these men of a harsh persuasion against you?
Not all of them. Almost none of them.
And that speaks merits of your own personality and character. We all fall, officer. Some harder than others, some more than others. Know this. I've heard many a lament from soldiers, seekers, slayers, city watchmen, wayward god, mercenaries, and adventurers. I have heard there are plights, one and all. You are not the only to suffer this. I doubt you will be the last. And for that, I am sorry. Sorry for you, and sorry for those that follow you. But it is those that follow you I ask you to consider. It is not easy being a better person, a better man, leader, soldier. It's hard. It's a hard path. There will be some that will try to drag you down and away from this path. During those times, think of the future. Think of those that follow you, follow your command, and those that will learn from your command. Think of them. Care for them. Respect them. Take their burdens in the present so they might not suffer it in the future. Children learn from their parents. Students learn from their mentors, the good and the bad.
I only hope I can, in the future, prove to be a fitting role model.
And that is all that can be asked of you. Here, in this temple of the eternal martyr himself, that is all we can ask of you. To bear whatever burdens you were allotted, shed that which you can unto Verilius himself, and continue forward. That is all we can ask. For to lay down and die, to fall under the weight and perish, that would be the greatest tragedy of all for thyself and those with you under your command, those that love you, and burden bearer Verilius and all his acolytes like myself. Bear with it, officer. Bear with it just a little longer. step by step, and perhaps in due time, the weight on your shoulders will be lighter, shed by you unto Verilius. Or you will inure yourself against it. A shedding in a different way, nonetheless.
He nods, once again unseen by the priest. But he'll sit up straight, lean back in the chair. Remember that Silas is standing directly behind him. Lean forward a bit more. I'll take your words to heart, Father. I will certainly sleep on them. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to take some time to pray.
Of course, of course. Take all the time you need, and if you need anything further, simply call. He begins walking off the slightly elevated dais that he was on, back to that aisle that he had walked through before. But as he walks through it, he stops midway. If the burden is truly too great for you, Captain, Aurelius is listening even now. Speak truly.
Did Alexander say that he was a captain?
You did not.
His ears prick up and he immediately moves to look at the priest as he's shuffling away. Listening even now, is he? Glance over at the effigy, altar, whatever it is, depiction. But he'll shake his head. Look over his shoulder.
There's Silas!
They're just giving you a sad look. Like, they're just like, they understand that, like, this is, like, they shouldn't be here. They don't feel bad about it, but they're like, I shouldn't have followed you.
Ooh, bad.
Regardless, he did. And I'm curious as to why.
I didn't have anything else to do. That'd be funny to scare you, but nope. They're like practically laying on the. I imagine it's like a pew, so they're laying on like the back of the pew with like.
100% not a pew.
All
Okay.
chairs.
All chairs.
All chairs. Okay. They're literally just like they're kneeling on the ground, laying on the chair next to you. Then their heads just on the chair. They're thinking.
How long have you been with River Company, as it is today?
Since we formed, I lost track of time a while ago.
Have you lost many in that time? Before the
No.
most recent one?
No. Just one.
When I was serving as a cadet for the Silver Swan, being groomed for command, my mentor, Hezra Grabane, he had told me that men and women will die under your command, that you will actively send some of them to their deaths, and that over time, it will get easier. But to be dismissive of it would put yourself at a disservice, and it would be a disservice to them as well. I never forgot his words, but I'm afraid I don't wholly subscribe to them. It never gets easier, Silas.
I didn't think it did.
He leans forward once again, puts his elbows on his hands and clasps on his elbows on his hands. Jesus Christ, his bones break. He puts his elbows on his knees, clasps his hands together, and barely a whisper. He starts praying, more so reciting names. Silas is actively listening, but I assume
Mhm.
those keen cat ears, He starts reciting names among like several dozen of them. You hear such things as Oliver Levine, Lucy of the Heartlands, Graham Ellion Fowler. I'm sorry, and thank you all.
Silas just watches as he does this.
Silas, with every name he speaks, every single one of the dozens, you feel your pocket get ever so gradually heavier and heavier. And I will say this applies to every single link out there. All of you feel your pockets getting heavier and heavier without really knowing why.
So frown and pull out theirs and just hold it in their hands.
It takes you active effort to lift it up.
Like,
He looks over to see what they're taking out.
It is a single chain link. Just one.
Lucky charm.
no. It was given to everyone in River Company. We each have one. They've just been getting heavier.
Why's that? What does it do?
Neednut doesn't know what they do. I do not remember.
I
I'm
don't
gonna say Silas
think we
doesn't know
know.
either. I don't think we know either. But I also don't remember the name of the person that gave it to us.
Just a
Is it
god.
Octavian? Okay.
Just a god.
Just casually. It was Lyko, right? Or am I misremembering that?
No, it was not like
No, it was not like
Octavian. It was
No,
Octavian.
it was
Octavian.
Octavian,
Okay, okay,
It
okay.
was giving it to us
Octavian
on behalf.
on Verulus's behalf. Yeah.
Okay.
Silas will just shrug. I assume it has some religious connotations, considering it's gotten even heavier just now. But I've never gotten religion, so maybe that's why I don't know.
You know, when I was a younger man, I was quite a hedonist. At least until I joined the Silver Swan. I was a downright heretic in some regards. Much like yourself, I didn't get religion either. But let me tell you, Silas, sometimes it is a very sturdy shield to hide behind. And he'll slap his knees and stand up. Are you going to continue following me?
Absolutely.
Are you still thinking you to do it from the shadows?
No. You already know I'm here.
Good. I would enjoy the company. And then he'll start walking for the door and continue his walk.
Silas, make a perception check at disadvantage.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Trying to see God. Trying to find religion.
I mean,
You find it very literally.
freaking a fellow god looked at me, so
Nothing of
dead.
particular note. Moving on. So,
shrugs.
Alessander,
The damn
you
Jesus again.
you head out from the Temple of Bird and Bear Verilius, accompanied by Silas, and you begin. I believe you want to go to the slums.
Yep.
Via the Undercity. Can both of you roll me perception straight as you guys are walking?
Yeah. Oh, come on. My passive is higher than that.
So
Damn.
close, just so far. Moving on. So you guys make your way into one of the Undercity elevator shafts that's on this side, because there's really a couple, rather few. This is the closest one. You guys ride down this heavy elevator with big chains that descends into the earth about 9, maybe like 8 stores or so into the Undercity and begin following a sort of road signs that point you to the Loggers Barrel / the. They don't call it the Slums. They don't call it the Slums.
They call it the shit district.
No, they call it the shit district. In fact, they don't really label it as anything at all. It doesn't get a name. It just has a sign that points it with a nameless thing. You guys make your way to the Slums. The Slums. They literally live in the shadow of the plateau above. I mean, I guess it's nighttime at this point, so not very much of a shadow. Not as well lit at all. I gotta say, not as well lit at all.
Silas walks closer to Alexander as they're going, and it starts getting darker.
Yep. You guys exit out from the Undercity through the slum entrance, and you see there are a number of people, not like massive mobs or crowds or anything like that, but there is still a number of ramshackle, impromptu housing set up here. As you guys, well, I should ask, Alexander, you're in the slums. Is there anything in particular you're trying to locate?
It is evening time, correct?
Bingo. At this point, it'd be like pushing towards like 8, 9 o'clock or so.
Mm-hmm. He is currently looking. This is a little awkward now that he knows Silas is there. So as we're walking through the poorest part of the town, he's gonna stop mid-stride and say, "What the hell am I doing? Silas, we shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here."
Why not? Why not?
He sucks his teeth for a second, puts his hands on his hips. Silas, I was scratches his jaw. I was coming to this part of town to be robbed.
Huh? Alexander, I know that I don't know what happened. Are you okay?
That's
a no.
Yeah, I'm.
Cecil
I'm,
put a
I'm
hand on
peachy,
the.
I'm peachy
Cecil
keen
put a hand
about
on his shoulders, like, I don't believe you.
I did not realize it until just this moment. But I think that continuing down this course will put you in danger. I do not want that. Perhaps
But
you should head back.
You're gonna put yourself in danger? Why
Well,
are you doing that?
you know what? I shall explain it to you on the way back. He starts
You're
walking
not-
back. this was a fantastic walk.
Absolutely
So
top
cute.
tier.
All right.
Following him.
So you begin walking back, Silas. You follow Alexander walking back. As you guys are walking back, you guys got a good bit into the slums before Alexander. You're just like, wait a minute, this is not the right idea. Not for that reason, but for the other reason.
I
And
myself didn't realize that I was doing this with Silas until that moment.
Sorry.
Wait a second.
Fuck up your
Hold
plan.
on.
Oh yeah, you could begin walking back, and as you're walking back, like you see like some people are like sort of out, just sort of like they're not like fucking trying to like shit on passerbys or whatever, but they're just sort of like, you know, minding their own damn business in the middle of the night. You do see like there are some lights and lanterns and stuff like that set up down here. They're very sparse, few and far in between. You guys do end up like passing by like this like alleyway. It's like a gap between houses, and you can see through that there's like an old man with like this like kid sitting in front of him, and he's like trying to teach the kid how to play harmonica. And like as you guys, you get there, bud?
He stops. Well, first things first. As we started walking back, Silas picks up that Alexander shifts his coin purse in a way that it doesn't clink anymore, and then they realize, oh, as soon as we got off the lift, he had shifted his coin purse to jingle as he walked. But yeah, he stops mid-stride, hearing that harmonica. He said it's an elderly gentleman teaching a young kid.
Yeah, this is an elderly gentleman. He's a bit disfigured, and like not like he like got fucked up by like an animal or something, but like naturally disfigured. Like
Yeah, he's just poor.
Yeah, he's just poor. No, it's really more of like his hands are like very rough, like miner's hands.
Yeah, like he had to work for a living.
Yeah, he's super calloused up and that. But it's like not just like, oh, my hands are calloused, like they're dead ass, like looking like they're rock stiff. Nonetheless, he's still teaching this kid how to play harmonica. You hear like a wow wow, like just as like this kid is like trying his first little ditty.
So as his ears perk up at the sound of music, they're like,
And Alexander starts walking towards them.
Silas will
You two
follow.
begin striding through this gap between houses towards the old man and this kid. I will say the kid and the old man do not look alike. Like their hair color is different, their hairstyle is different, their complexion and skin tone are different. Like they are not related, or if they are related, it's by some sort of Godfather sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this man sees you walk on up with big purpose. You're also armed, and he like stands up and hands the kid the harmonica and just like closes the distance on you guys like a few paces. Something you want?
I just couldn't help but hear the sound of harmonica blaring down this alleyway.
Oh, too loud for you.
Oh, no, not at all. In fact, I quite enjoy the sound. It is something of a nostalgic sound to me.
You play?
No, myself, no. I never quite took to musical arts. I'm merely an observer. You teaching the boy to play?
It's alright.
Looking at the harmonica is like a weathered thing. Like
Oh, it's
falling
super.
apart.
It's not falling apart, but it does look like scratched up and weathered.
It's got character.
It's got character.
Come here, son. Just for the